She's awesome. She looks good, but the mount. I respect her, but the mount's kind of crazy, bro. I love her, but it's okay. I respect her. She's great. She's a tough chick, but the mount is kind of. She's tough, no doubt. She's tough, there, Justin. Absolutely, she's tough. But you go to a you go to a restaurant and something goes wrong. I don't want to be there. Oh my God. Oh yeah, nice, nice. She's probably great. She's probably very good. Okay, so I'm about to launch my app. Just give me a second. I'm going to do the Facebook Live. I want to get that launched, and we're good. You know what I'm saying? Wait, let me just get the Facebook Live going. So we had a great show. I didn't see that. That's crazy, bro. Are you serious? That's insane, son. If that's true, that's insane. They want, I'm beginning to believe that's what they want. They want race riots. They want to disrupt this entire, because that's a group that's pushing, yeah. This is planned and orchestrated, obviously. And unfortunately, people are being manipulated left and right because this is not really what's going on in the geopolitical landscape. It's not. You're living 200 years ago. They don't want you living today. If we live today, this game would be different. We'd be together to understand what the heck is really going on over here. But nobody wants to do that. Frankie Russo will give you the. I'm close. The Russo show is close. So tonight, on my show at ABC, we drill down on some of the vectors. I'm going to drill down more, and we're going to get into the China vectors, because that's where I want to spend a lot of time this week, is on the vectors in China. We got a lot. We got a lot to talk about over these next few days. I was thinking about them all day today, but I'm telling you today. Wait, let me just get this Facebook thing lit up, and then we'll talk. That's amazing, Justin. I didn't know that. That's crazy, bro. That's unbelievable. For the grace of God, go I. But that's what they want. I think they want. They do want a. I think they want that. I'm convinced. They want race riots. One thing. What I forget? Oh, yeah. I want to do. Yeah, I heard. We're from the. Well, Black Lives Matter. What up, Danny? Black Lives Matter. Get out of here. Seriously? Damn, what's going on? I'm gonna have to do this one on my own. It's not going. All right. I gotta do the Facebook one. Bear with me, and I'm with Pop. I just gotta do the Facebook one. Bear with me. 2 seconds. Facebook goes quick. Shout out to the Cold Warrior, absolutely. We had a great show Saturday night. They had a great show at ABC. I met, I was friends with Sleewood. That was funny. Sleewood's a funny guy. I met this kid, David Valdez. He's a broadcaster over there. He's Mark Levin's producer. I was blown away. What a guy. Great. And I met this Frank Morano. Nice guy. Really good broadcaster. He did a gig with Curtis Sleewood before I went on at 10 o'clock. It was really cool. The All American show at ABC was unbelievable. The doo-wop music, everything. It was just amazing. The whole thing was amazing. But anyway, I just want to get. I didn't go on last night. I was so tired. I was tired, man. I just wanted to rest. And I'll be on all week. I just want to get this Facebook thing going, and then we'll have a nice talk tonight. Okay, so we got Facebook going, and once I get that, the live will go, and we're gonna start to record. Let's start recording. So how you all doing? Shout out to Joey Chestnuts. You got it. Who is that other one? I missed it. So we had a great show Saturday night at ABC. We'll be on again Saturday night. I got the word. So we'll be on again this Saturday night. 77 WABC. Can't wait. Great place. Iconic place. So because I want to talk about China today. I want to talk about the vectors. I got vectors before. There's some of the vectors that we spoke about at ABC that we speak about here. So what happened to me today, I'm outside because I'm in my back. The gyms aren't open over here. We're only in phase 3. I heard, this is crazy. I just saw a messenger about this black militia. This is insane. They want race riots, truth be told. But that's crazy, right? So I'm in my backyard. I'm roping. And I'm really, I'm roping hard. Okay, that's definitely within the, that's definitely out there, Justin. You're right. What happened to me was I'm roping, right? So I go in the front and I walk around because I rope for like, a couple of minutes and I take a break. Then I try to do 10 minutes. Who are you, Hoof? Why come in like that, bro? Bro, please don't come into my room like that. I'll throw you out. We don't talk like that over here. Okay? That's your problem. That's your thing. Go ahead, go. We don't talk like that over here. So I went to the front, right, of my house, and one of my buddies is just coming out, and he's a baseball guy. So we're talking. We're like a nice. Okay, so it is hot outside. You're right. Okay, it's very humid. You're right, Hoof. I don't know. I don't know what happened, Danny. All I know is, it's crazy with these race riots. I think it's insane. It's stupid, quite frankly. It's past. It's beyond. It's behind the times. You come to this show, you're right on the cutting edge with the data. You're on the cutting edge. So I'm outside. My buddy's with his dog. We're like 6 feet away. Nice guy. He's got a nice family, beautiful kids. Got a pretty wife. Really cool. And we love baseball. So all the time we talk Yankee fan. I'm a Yankee fan. So we're talking baseball and everything. Really, really cool, right? So all of a sudden we're talking, right? I'm talking because I'm like, with this COVID thing, right? I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I'm so cynical because I am. I'm thinking. I saw a video from some people that were at Italia, what they went through and what they found out. I don't know how true it is. I went online, so I'm trying to find information out, right? And I'm like, I can't get this thing out of my head that maybe we're not getting told the truth, that maybe this 5G thing, maybe part of it, something up of it that's part of this situation. Because in 03, 04, the SARS happened and it went away. And I'm talking to my friend about it, right? And I'm saying, because they're saying, I saw the video, I looked at it like 4 times. I'm trying to find out some information from the video. Who did the? I don't have all the information yet. And then in the public domain, they're just saying that the 5G has no effect on the electromagnetic radiation that's emitted from this 5G towers have no effect on your health. They said there's no scientific proof that it does. Basically, is what they're saying, right? So I'm like, I'm like, I'm cynical. I'm sorry. We're living, I'm a man of Christ, a man of the Rosary, and I'm cynical. We're in the sign of the times is great deception. So I'm like, I just can't. So I'm talking to my friend about it. I'm saying, how in Italia they found out, they did the autopsies. They looked through the autopsy. They did through the dead bodies, unfortunately, a lot. They performed autopsies on them, and they found out that there's this blood clotting going on. So they changed the whole paradigm on how to treat these patients with aspirin and anticoagulants, blood thinners, and inflammatories. And there was a point in time, they have it a lot more under control now, but at the point of time where 14,000 people returned home from the hospital due to this change in the protocol. So I was telling my friend this, right? And he's younger than me, bro. This dude is younger than me. He's like, son, he said he had it. I'm like, what? He goes, yeah. He goes, he had I don't know. I can't say it is, but I'm very I'm very suspicious of this whole thing. I have not ruled it out. At the very least, it's exacerbating the SARS. At the very least. I'm not a medical doctor, but I'm looking at all aspects of this thing. So I'm talking to my friend, and he told me he was sick, and then all of a sudden he had pains in his. I'm telling you, Justin, there's a tower in Brooklyn too. I know one tower. I know there's probably more than one. That's where I think that's where it is. I don't know. I got to find out more about it. I'm not going to lie. I don't know everything about it. So I know it's about whether there's this electromagnetic radiation emitting from the 5G towers. I know that. I'm telling you. So, okay, Hoof. So my friend tells me he was sick, and then all of a sudden it went to his chest, and he had pains in his chest. His wife, thank you Jesus, told him to go to the doctor. He went to the doctor. He had blood clots all in his chest. He had the COVID. He said he's on blood thinners now. I was like, what the? I couldn't believe it. That's how I was like 3 to 6 feet away from him. I was like, this is crazy. This is crazy, right? I'm like, wow. The dude had blood clots in his chest. Young guy. Younger than me. This dude's got to be like 30 something. 30 something, mid 30s. What's up, Monarch? Wow, you had COVID? Wow. Wow, that's crazy, Justin. That's crazy, bro. This dude had blood clots. He's got to be 33, 34, 35 the most. In good shape, too. I mean, the dude is, he's not like obese or anything like that. Thank you, Joel. God bless you. Thank you for it was a great show. Thank you, my brother. So, wow, that's crazy, Mark. So I'm like thinking to myself, right? There may be something to this 5G. I don't know, right? You go online, they claim most of the stuff, the scientific articles claim there's no science to support the contention that the 5G, in other words, in order for it to be science, and we talk about this, it's called the frequentistic domain. There has to be repeatable experiments, repeatable experiments, and then the results fall within the certain standard deviation of the mean, and you have science, something it has to be repeated, and has to be repeatable, right? So the results have to be the same, pretty much coming within a certain standard deviation of the mean for it to be considered scientific, right? Frequentistic domain, exactly. The frequentistic domain. So I'm like, this is crazy, right? I'm like, this is crazy. I'm telling you, bro. I'm like, this is crazy. So I'm thinking to myself, right? I'm sorry. I'm cynical, right? Let's say hypothetically, they may not have scientific proof, but let's say this it's like creeping, There's a little there's some indications that there is, there's some indications that there isn't, and they put it together and it comes out to where it doesn't reach the threshold of where it's repeatable. Okay? But let's say there's some experiments where it has been like very convincing that there is and some that there isn't. Some that there is, some that there isn't, some that there is, some that there isn't. Do you think they're going to tell us that? No. They're just going to say there's no science to support the contention that the electromagnetic radiation coming from these towers is creating the virus. And they say it's bacterial. In Italia, they say it's bacterial. So it's like beyond belief, right? So to me, right, I'm not saying the 5G is it and it's part of the problem, right? But let's look at it. 5G is part of a big business undertaking, and businesses stand to be better from this 5G network, right? It's probably going to increase their revenue streams without a doubt, right? In addition, right, and let's be real and honest, as long as to the politicians, as long as they got the hospitalization rate under control, why are they going to sweat it, right? Why are they going to sweat it? I'm telling you, Joe, this 5G thing may be the reason why this thing is, I don't know. I'm not saying I know the whole scoop and we got incontrovertible truth and this is the way it is. I'm just very, very suspicious right now. This 5G thing, SARS was in 2003, 2004. And if you look it up, you just go to the Wikipedia, which has footnotes, people. The Wikipedia has footnotes. I know a lot of PhDs in physics use Wikipedia to study. Okay, SARS is in Wikipedia, and it does have footnotes. SARS is a viral respiratory disease of zoonotic origin caused by severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus, right? And they say in 2019, the related virus strain, severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus 2, was discovered. It's a new strain of COVID-19, right? So, according to no cases of SARS-CoV have been reported worldwide since 2004. There is no vaccine for SARS back in 2003, 2004. And Chinese scientists traced the virus through the intermediary of Asian palm civets to cave-dwelling horseshoe bats in Yunnan. What up, champ? How you doing, my brother? So that's SARS. Now, SARS hybrid, I guess, is COVID-19. SARS-2, I call it SARS hybrid. Is SARS hybrid, is it SARS plus 5G? Is that the problem? I don't know. Are we looking at SARS hybrid, SARS plus 5G? God bless you, champ. I'll be on all week. What up, Bensonhurst? I was just tired last night because I had that show Saturday. I got home late. It was a great show at ABC. I met some great people. I met Mark Levin's David. I met David Valdez, Mark Levin's producer. He's got a show over there at ABC. I met obviously Curtis Sliwa, a funny guy. He's the best, great broadcaster. And I met Frank Morano, another great broadcaster. Had a great time. So it's like I'm like, what is this, right? So so I put it in. So so then you got all of this counter. So this is like a did you really? You should. Did you tell him? yo yo Bensonhurst. Next, if you ever run into him again, tell him you know Frankie Russo. He's. You did? You told him that? No. Did you? Oh, okay. You should tell him. He'll get hysterical laughing. Tell him you're in Frankie Russo's scope show. So this this internet is like a it's like it's like a playing ground for the intel world. They throw information out there, then they have these websites that counter to counter to the counter, misinformation, disinformation. Does 5G coronavirus conspiracy theorists are endangering the you know what I mean? It's like the people who think coronavirus is caused by 5G. I mean, who knows, champ, right? So then they come out 5G has no link to COVID as a social media aims to squat. I mean, they are right. Yahweh. We're going to talk about Yahweh tonight. Yeah, that was great, Joel. Thank you, brother. I couldn't believe that. Absolutely, Justin. So I couldn't believe that. So I've been scouring the internet trying to find because I saw. I remember seeing something from Europe, the European Union claiming that you got to watch this 5G and the danger, the health dangers it poses. Maybe that's how I should go about this health risks, 5G health risks. And I saw something. Yeah, here it is. It came up. The real problem. The real problem. It's a EU. It's a European EU website. Real 5G issues overshadowed by COVID. Oh, here we go. So wow. So you see, now I'm going to read this. I'm not going to read this tonight, but I'm going to read this because what they're doing is they could be semantic with this thing. So say if it's on the bubble, I don't know, but say there is some indication that 5G could have some sort of health risk. Let's say it does, right? Let's say hypothetically it does, and let's say with the SARS, it's exacerbated to blood clots. That's what the some of the from the. I don't have the definitive video from the Italian doctors because I can't find the freaking origin of the video. It was professionally done, but I can't find the freaking origin of it. So I can't say that this came from the Italian Doctors Association in Italia. I can't say that, you know. But this thing with this 5G thing. I heard, champ. There's something with the 5G thing. I think I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't trust the politicians, and as long as the hospitalization rate is down, this is maybe their way of quietly, right, champ? This is their way of quietly just knocking the population down. You heard Cuomo. I mean, I'm paraphrasing him. He sent the COVID patients there. And I'm paraphrasing him. I don't have his exact quotes, but he said, listen, everybody's going to die. And he just sent them to the people knowing that the COVID patients are going to kill a lot of the people in the nursing homes. Wow, that's crazy. Hey, Bannon's from Breitbart. That's a great group. So so, that's where I'm like, I'm a little I'm not sold. What I'm trying to say is, I'm telling you, Monarch, I'm not sold on this 5G not having anything to do with this pandemic. I'm sorry. I'm not sold on it. All the boxes have not been checked off for me. So I'm still looking, locking and loading and seeing if I can find something that makes any sense. Because if things are on the worst case scenario, if things are on the bubble, scientists, so things are on the bubble, scientists said, well, it still hasn't reached scientific, you heard Fauci, it has to have a placebo, the clinical trials. If it still hasn't reached the scientific threshold, then there's no risk. That's pretty much how they interpret the data, right? So it's a lot of gray area here, and it isn't as clear cut I think, as they're portraying it, you know. And I'm sorry, it's just not as clear cut as everybody's portraying it. I think that I haven't ruled out. I'm not saying I have the incontrovertible truth on 5G and COVID, but I think I know my boxes are not checked yet on whether on that COVID is not involved in this. I mean that 5G is not involved in this. We know this is like a SARS hybrid. They've seen this already. And 3, 4, they don't have a vaccine for it yet, and it went away. There were no, according to the Wikipedia on SARS, which has footnotes, and I know many PhD physics students use Wikipedia. So, for people that poo-poo Wikipedia, there are footnotes in there. And one footnote was saying that, I don't know, Danny, right? But they're saying that there have been no reported SARS cases worldwide since '04, and now we recently. Oh shit! It just crashed. It just crashed. That just crashed. It came out. That's why. Yeah. Yeah, it came out. My scope. So it came out. Now it's in. Yeah. Sorry, man. It just crashed. I saw what the problem was. Yeah. Sorry. It wasn't plugged in. Sorry about that. I looked down and the plug came out. So that's that. But anyway, hey, so what I was saying was I haven't checked all the boxes yet and ruled out. Right? It's true. You're right, Justin. I haven't ruled out. I have not ruled out. I haven't checked all the boxes yet saying that 5G has nothing to do with SARS, COVID-19. I'm sorry. I'm still checking into it. It's something suspicious. It's just suspicious to me. This whole thing. There you go, Danny. So there it is, right? No snowflake zone. You better believe it. So this is where we are, right? So we're gonna talk about it more. No, I haven't. Oh, you're saying 5G now? I mean, I don't know. On Smart Dust in 2018? I don't know. I just think that there's something, I don't know. I don't know. The open domain says there's no scientific proof. Absolutely, Joe. My thing fell. My thing unplugged, but if I fixed it. They're saying, what up, Buccaneers? They're saying there's no scientific proof that 5G has any effect on the COVID. According to the video, I can't find out who produced this video and where it came from with the Italian scientists. It's called Smart Dust. I'm going to go Smart Dust COVID-19. I'm telling you, the electromagnetic radiation, right? So, like I was saying, let's say the scientific papers say there's like one experiment says that it's real, and then two or three papers says it's not. It doesn't fall within this, they're not getting repeatable results. The frequentistic domain, for it to be science, you need repeatable results from the experiments. So let's say there's some that show results and some that don't. So they're going to say this isn't science. Do you know what I mean? A lot of stuff could be on the bubble here, and they're just saying that it's not science. So what do we do? As long as the hospitalization rate is down and they're not overflow, they don't care, the politicians, right? And it's a nice way for them to, like, look what Cuomo did. Cuomo sent the COVID patients to the nursing homes. Nice way for him to reduce the population. I'm assuming, based on his reaction, he said everybody dies. Or they're pursuing Smart Dust? Okay, I don't know. I'm just thinking, champ, this 5G, I'm telling you, champ, this 5G, I haven't ruled it out yet. I'm cynical, bro. I'm not taking the word for the open door. There's so much, you want some cool, there's so much deception on the internet. I'm not ruling anything out. I don't know, Danny, but that's where I am with that, right? So I'm gonna talk about it all week. I'm gonna look at it and see if I can find something that makes sense. Because I got that video from Italia, well produced. I can't find out who produced it and send them some questions, to get some information. There you go, Joel. That's a beautiful thing. The Electoral College is going to elect President Trump. Mike, I don't know. I'm just the boxes for me produced it. Absolutely, Maria Grazia. Let me tell you, Cucinito, Cucci Nota. Exactly, champ. Why'd he send him to the nursing home? Right? I'm sorry. And his explanation was, I'm paraphrasing him, Mike. I'm paraphrasing him. He said, we all die. Right? To kill them off, right? He said, we all die. And he was over, the overreaction was beyond belief, right? 40,000 ventilators. These people were waiting for an excuse to take control. Exactly, champ. Exactly. Conceivably, I'm not saying that that's incontrovertible truth, but it is definitely a theory worth looking at. Absolutely. Absolutely. Without a doubt, right? That's why with this 5G, I have to be cynical. 800-848-9222. Absolutely. I'll be there Saturday night. I just got the call. I'll be there Saturday night again. So 800-848-9222. So look. So we're going to go through it. Absolutely, Joe. So we'll go through it the whole week, right? So tonight, we're going to talk about Mandalay Bay. Not tonight, tomorrow. I'm trying to get more information on Mandalay Bay. I'm trying to see if I can honestly say that there were royal Saudi militia in Mandalay Bay end of September, the first day in October. Because then, it could be interesting, right? Because the vectors outside, I'll be there Saturday at 77 WABC Buccaneers, 10 to 12 on Saturday. I'll be there. So this is where we are. When do I do my talk about horse racing? I love horse racing. Thank you, Buccaneers. I don't think so, Isles. Oh, you watched it? Yeah, send it to me, bro. It does go fast, Joe. Hey. 800-848-9222. Yo, Stone. You're a snowflake. The truth. This guy June is Stone. Tell me the truth. Be honest. Did you vote for Hillary Clinton? Stone 101. Did you vote for Hillary Clinton? Simple question. Did you vote for Hillary Clinton? Who'd you vote for? Gary Johnson? Ivan McMillan? Right, Joe? Who'd you vote for, Stone? There's 220 miles of wall being built. Trump got it done. So let me ask you, Stone, Kanye West, please. Oh my God. He's a better rapper than Jay-Z, but that's about it. It's almost done. 220 miles he's got. Done. Stone. You must have cried like a snowflake, November 2016. It's being built, right, Monarch? He don't want to, Stone don't want to admit it, Is he definitely running? I guess that's why he's running, right? That's why he's running. Trump is a masterful politician. Trump is masterful. Trump is masterful. If he gets Kanye West to run, Trump pigeonholes this thing. He wins by a landslide. He ain't taking Trump votes, not Kanye. What up, War? He ain't taking, nah. He's just going to take he's going to take the African American vote away from Biden. If that's true, I am like, he's going to win. I agree. You're right, Joe. No, come on, man. If Kanye, bro, I've been around politics all my life. All right? I've been around politics all my life with my father. I'm telling you, if Kanye West runs for president, I still believe Trump's going to win by a landslide. The African American vote is going to Kanye West. Where's Joe Biden? Absolutely. Where's Joe Biden? He's doing a circle jerk somewhere, right? It'll be like 92, but Trump is going to get 400 plus electoral votes. I like Kim Kardashian. I think she's a lot smarter than she's given credit for. That's what I think. They're saying that it's true. Oh, Biden's done. Especially if Kanye West runs. If Kanye West runs, he gets 8%, 10% of the black vote. Are you kidding? Are you kidding? He gets, right, as an independent, he gets 8 to 10% of the black vote. Right? Trump beats Biden anyway. Trump beats Biden anyway. War of Roses. I just want to get into the China tonight because I want to get into the China's vectors, the Yahweh. Eventually, if not tonight, tomorrow, definitely. I agree with you, you know. Yeah, my show, we had 249 before it even starts. Joe, 249 before it even starts. All he's got to do is win Florida. And his Hispanic vote is going to be high than it was in 16. So he's going to win Florida. On my show, I forgot to mention, I also picked Wisconsin. I had Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Ohio, Florida, Minnesota, and he won Minnesota, but Ivan McMillan was on a ticket, so he didn't win. And Colorado was filled with fraud. Colorado was really filled with fraud. He would have won Colorado too. So Trump starts off 249. Come on, man. Trump starts off 249. I mean, he starts off. We turn the lights on tomorrow morning. Trump's, you know where he starts. You got a number that you could pretty much, it's going to be a landslide. I think so. Even if this book, they're saying this book is going to come out from his niece or something. They're going to, these last minute jousts at Trump. He's going to overcome them. Some sort of book is going to come out from his family. He's got an internal thing going on, maybe next week. Whatever it's going on, Trump is going to joust. Whatever joust Trump is going to face. Exactly. We talked about that, right? October 20th. It's going to be a landslide night. Absolutely night raider. We talked about it. November 20th. Right, Joe? He will prevail. November 20th, 2016, 2 weeks before the election, New York Times had Hillary Clinton up 92% chance of winning. These people are frauds, right? Winning! Yeah. So I really want to get into some of the vectors with China because I really want to, absolutely, Teflon. He's got Teflon all over. So they're going to joust. You got to expect them to joust with him to the end because they're fighting for their lives. Think about it. Another 4 years of Trump, and he gets in with a nice polarity, like Reagan-esque. He's a kingmaker. Say he says, "Listen, I don't want to run a third term." He could pick somebody, and it could go far. Right, Mike? There you go, champ. That's the whole point. The mythology, the way they're deriving their random samples is a problem. Oh God, I'm done with that guy. Yo, Stone, man, you don't talk to me like that. I'm sorry. I'm a good guy. I'm a gentleman, and you come into my room like that? Come on, bro. I hate blocking people. Oh, he's gonna make it. to the election. You're right, champ. Right? War. I mean, War of Roses. I don't want to do it, but I try, June. I try. You don't have to agree with me. You can think I'm a freaking moron. I really don't care. I take serious of what I do. I have vectors that I believe that we're close. I'm not confirm. I'm not true, Booba. The Russian bounties are intel that never reached. I need a big flag. I got the Trump flag. Absolutely, War Roses. I agree with you. Those were the days. 16 was the days. Today it's ridiculous. So anyway, I was going to get into some China vectors today, and then we'll finish up as the week goes on because I get closer. Because I'll be on 77 WABC this week. Yeah, right, Joe? It's crazy. It's crazy. Not true, Baba. They had the congressman from Texas, Mike McCall, on Fox News, and he heard the intel officer who was talking about these Russian bounties on, and they even talked about the bank accounts. He said that the intel wasn't enough. It was too shaky to send it to the president. So here's the thing now, right? And I talked about this on my show. You could, I want to talk about China tonight, Chinese vectors, but you know, you want to be honest. You know, you're talking about stuff that never reached. You never taught. Well, I don't know what you're talking about, Baba. You know what's unacceptable to me? Obama going to telling everybody he's going to visit the troops in Iraq, and he's going to Erbil, Iraq, to release 5 Quds Force officials that were detained in Iraq. Exactly, champ. That were detained in Iraq for almost 2 years. Yeah, at 77 WABC, I do, June. I think 5G might be a problem there. I don't have. Absolutely, Joe. That's not true. You don't know that for a fact. You don't know that for a fact, Baba. Sounds good, June. You could. Right, champ? So we got Obama going to Erbil, Iraq, releasing 5 Quds Force officials in 2009, saying he's going to visit the troops. Right, Joel? There you go. Right. Then, and those troops were detained for almost 2 years with the prior administration because they were considered an immediate threat to the men and women of the United States Armed Forces out in Iraq. Because if you remember, Petraeus, the surge came and they were with the coalition forces and the Iraqi forces, they were pushing, because what happened was when they whacked Saddam Hussein, Musabu Abu al-Zakwari formed this Al-Qaeda in Iraq with the Saddam Hussein regime. And that's when Petraeus whacked Musabu al-Zakwari, the first leader of Al-Qaeda in Iraq, who was a Jordanian assassin. Petraeus was an amazing general, and unfortunately, he got sideswiped. But he got sideswiped by the politics, the Obama Clinton crime family, right? No way, AC. So, well, I know of five. I know six. Champ, I know of six. The five for the Bergdahl trade. Afghan Taliban for the Bergdahl at $5 billion with the Qatar. That's when Congressman Omar was over there with. She was getting very conveniently close with the Qatari royal family, and she became Erdogan's side piece out in Ankara, Turkey. because she's an Erdogan asset as well. In addition, right? So we talked about, and then we talked about obviously Benghazi, right? I mean, that's 20,000 Soviet manpads and 400 FIM 92s. Obama said ISIS is a JV team, and he said not anymore. He armed them up, absolutely, Joel. And then when it came time to call for the air support, they didn't do it because they were afraid. Fast and Furious, right? They were afraid that the Al Qaeda. I heard Susan Rice. I don't think so. I think that's a ruse. They just playing the PR thing. I think it's going to be Hillary Rodham Clinton. War Roses. Hillary. Hillary wants revenge. So, right? So, we try, Joel. So we have. So they didn't call the air support because she can't. She can't. War Roses. She can't. We didn't call the air support because the Obama Clinton crime family was afraid that the radical that Al Qaeda in Libya were going to use the manpads on the air support. They would have used the weapons that we gave them on our air support to save our people. Oh, Charlie Daniels, wow, that's crazy, Joel. And how do you know this? On July 25th, 2012, Kenneth Timmerman wrote an article for the New York Post where a U.S. Stinger was shot by an Afghan Taliban that took down a U.S. Chinook helicopter. And when the ordnance team, after the downing of thank God everything was, they didn't handle the manpad right, so it didn't really destroy the Chinook helicopter. So the man survived. The U.S. soldiers survived. So what happened was the ordnance team found the serial number that traced to a CIA cache of the U.S. Stingers. Absolutely, War Roses. Charles Daniel. That's the from the band. I didn't see it yesterday. No, I didn't see it yesterday. I saw Mount Rushmore. I was at ABC from like 8 o'clock on. The country singer, the Charlie Daniels band, right? Wow, sorry to hear that. Sorry to hear that. Wow. He played a violin, a fiddle, something like that. Wow, that's what I'm talking about. God bless him. He played a violin or a fiddle, right? Something like that, right? Wow, that's wow. I'm telling you, Joel. That's why. That's what I'm talking about, Danny. They shouldn't change it. Oh, it was a fiddle. Gotcha. So I wanted to talk about tonight before we get off the air. I'm almost on the air an hour. I don't think Stacey Abrams is going to be. I don't think so, Mike. I think Stacey Abrams is an amateur. Right, gotcha, Joel. Gotcha, War. Right, Mike. I think Stacey Abrams is a amateur. Amateur. Amateur politician. So I want to talk about China. You're right, War. I agree. So the China vectors. So let's start. I'm going to start with the vectors, and then we may not get to Yahweh tonight, but definitely Yahweh tomorrow. Okay. So we're going to talk about the vectors in China. So let's go. Let's start with North Korea, right? And then we'll roll it out, and we'll bring it here. The boards are well, they're on my. The boards are. I got the boards over here, but those are the vectors for the Wuhan virus. And I'm going to drill down a little bit deeper. Yahweh, China, Yahweh, we'll do tomorrow. I just want to get the basic vectors on the table. just so we understand about China. I heard about TikTok. Yes, that's another issue, right? So China basically, we got North Korea, right? North Korea, we could say unequivocally, we believe that North Korea is not doing anything that China doesn't want it to do, right? So we believe North Korea is there being disruptive, threatening with nukes, because they do not want a unified Korean peninsula in their area, an American thing going on. Bottom line. Wow. So we know that China had something with India, but we'll get to that. So that's how we look at North Korea. So North Korea, and also in addition, China provides 90% of North Korea's oil. They have a friendly pipeline. So we believe that's why President Trump was giving Rocket Man such a hard time, and he negotiated with President Xi with these tariffs, telling China that this can't continue. So President Trump shut down a money pipeline to somebody in the deep state for those lopsided trade deals. Let's be honest, right? Absolutely. I think China tells North Korea what to do. Absolutely. Or at the very least, they have a lot to say. Is it on everything? What I really mean is, I don't think North Korea is independent of China. No way. Whatever North Korea is doing, China okayed it. They're doing what China wants them to do. Is what I'm trying to say. Right? So, right? So let's look at this. So what else do we know? To give you another idea. China runs the show, absolutely. They run their region. North Korea, the Sunan International Airport, Air Koryo, commercial airliners, with North Korea is known for missile and rocket components. So they take missile and rocket components, put it on a commercial airliner in Air Koryo, fly it over the Russian border into Vladivostok Airport in Russia. They land, they take the missile and rocket components out and transfer it to another commercial airliner, Aeroflot, the largest airliner in the Russian Federation. They put the missile and rocket components on the Aeroflot airliner, and they fly to Tehran, Iran, with the missile and rocket components over Chinese airspace. This is crazy. They land. Iran assembles the missile and rocket components, puts them either on Marwan Air or Iran Air, and fly them into the borders of Israel, Syria. The command center and the Iranian embassy in Syria is Iranian command center. They're 2 hours from Beirut, where Hezbollah has 100,000 rockets underground, more than any NATO country has above ground. So that's a vectors that go on over there, right? So now, North Korea, China. Now we're going to move to Iran. China is, well, before I get into that, let's get into our great president raises his right hand on January and says, I hereby will defend and protect the American people and the United States Constitution. So help me God. Metaphorically, he looks up in the sky and he sees long-term ballistic missiles coming from Iran out of the Strait of Hormuz, and Rocket Man for the first year of his administration is doing missile tests every month, and that's how President Trump coined him Rocket Man, right? So Iran, the Khomeini, Hassan Rouhani, Zarif is saying, we're doing nothing wrong. Those long-term ballistic missiles were not included in the Iranian nuke deal. So we're not doing anything wrong. So the like we said, the Iranian nuke deal was fake, right? Very hard to stop a country of Iran's will from proliferating. So the premise of the Iranian nuke deal was to slow them down, and obviously not including the Iranian long-term ballistic missile program inside the Iranian nuke deal was a ruse. And we point to the DIA report in 2013 with Lieutenant General Michael Flynn claiming that North Korea has miniaturized nuclear warheads for its long-term ballistic missile program. And it's old news. It goes back to '06, and Bill Clinton sent that $4 billion to Rocket Man's father, which enabled them to have the miniaturized nuclear warheads for his long-term ballistic missile program. So North Korea knows missiles and rockets, and they're sharing all this with Iran. And it is statistically significant because there are documents that show that the Iranian scientists are working with the North Korean scientists. Now, with that being said, China is now, right? China, as we go down with the vectors from China, we go from North Korea now, we go to the South China Sea, and we go to the Strait of Hormuz. The Strait of Hormuz, 80% of China's oil goes through the Strait of Hormuz. That's where Malaysia, the water passageway between Malaysia and the Strait, Sumatra Island. So this passageway where 80% of China, because China is the #1 oil importer on the planet. Last time I checked anyway. So it goes through the Malaysia water passageway and the Sumatra Island. And they call this the Strait of Malacca. And interestingly enough, the passageway narrows to 2 miles, and 80% of China's oil goes through there. China, we believe, yes, they want to be a regional hegemony. Yes, they want to be a superpower. But we believe the most important thing to China is their economy. So they have pretty much a self-contained, even though they're not, they're everywhere. They have over 1 billion plus consumers. So their economy is huge, right? So with that being said, that's why they arm up on the South China Sea. They get all this oil coming up from the Strait of Malacca. And now we go to Port Gwadar in Pakistan. That's another military, they're trying to create another military base. That's to protect the oil coming from, I'm not saying that's the only reason why they're building this militarization, but it's one of the reasons, right? The 30 to 40% of the world's oil comes from the Strait of Hormuz, the Persian Gulf. Through the Persian Gulf, through the Strait of Hormuz, the Gulf of Oman, and that's where Port Gwadar, right next to Iran, Port Gwadar, that's where China, a multi-billion-dollar military base. So in addition, China is in addition also involved in the gas field that Iran shares with Qatar. It's total SA of France, Iran, and China that's building the LNG gas plant for Iran so they could become an exporter of liquefied natural gas. China's involved over there. As China's involved, well, when we get to the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, we'll talk about that as well with Russia. So from there, right, we go from the Arabian Sea to the Gulf of Aden, and now we're going up to I think it's the Red Sea. Let me see. Or the Black Sea. I think it's the Red Sea. Or the Black Sea. Where the Gulf of Aden is. Let me make sure. I just want to make sure. So, where is the Gulf? So, Sudan. Let's just get Sudan's pick. And I'll tell you right away because I get a map. Yeah, here it is, right here. Here's the map. What sea is that? The Red Sea. Okay, right. So it's the Red Sea. The Black Sea is up more. The Red Sea. So, right, so we're in the Gulf of Aden, which is where Yemen is, and Ethiopia is the other side. And that's where Djibouti, Ethiopia, China has a military base there, and so do we. The reason why, one of the reasons why China has a military base there is because of the Red Sea, and what's coming out of the Red Sea is the China, absolutely, Mike, Ethiopia, absolutely. So in Sudan, China bought oil fields from the tyrannical criminal Omar Bashir. He's crucifying Christians and putting Jews in ovens over there. Muslim Brotherhood leader Hassan al-Tarabi, Osama bin Laden, Ayman al-Zawahiri, the whole going. The IRGC helped Omar Bashir coup South Sudan, coup Sudan in Khartoum. The IRGC, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, Hezbollah built a Khartoum weapons factory, which was running weapons in the 90s to through Egypt into to the Gaza Strip. That got hit by Israel, I think, in 2007, 8, something like that, right? So just to cut to the chase, so the booty, China has a military base there, and we do, right next door. And China's basically protecting their oil interests coming out of Sudan. They bought those oil fields. They send Chinese workers over there. They send the oil to Port Sudan, out to the Red Sea, to the oil tankers, and then down the Red Sea, the Gulf of Aden, the Arabian Sea. Then they go through the Strait of Malacca, up past the China South Seas, would have militarization there. Then they have oil coming out of the Persian Gulf, the Strait of Hormuz, the Gulf of Oman, and that's where that other militarization, the Port Gwadar, is. So China, one of the reasons why China militarizes in those areas is to protect their oil. They are the #1 oil importer on the planet. They've also purchased oil fields inside of Iraq. They got North Korea working with Hezbollah. North Korea is, according to I read it recently, North Korea is educating Hezbollah with missiles and rockets components. Hezbollah has a history with explosives. North Korea is known for their missiles and rocket components. So it's my understanding North Korea and Hezbollah are working together in that regard. Not good, right? In addition, we got North Korea building military bases underground in Syria, right? So that's not good either. So when I talk about North Korea, I'm saying China, because that's what I believe. China has a lot to say what goes on in North Korea. That much I think is true. So from there, we know that China's in Venezuela trying to get that oil, and they try to do some business over there. And we know China, well, they own oil refineries inside of Sudan. They bought oil refineries inside of Iraq. Well, they're drilling anyway. They've actually getting oil out of it. They've actually getting oil out of. I don't know what they're getting out of Iraq yet. Iraq's an OPEC, right? Iraq's pretty big. I don't know about now, but they were at one time in OPEC, right? And then we got China in Venezuela, which is in our hemisphere. They're trying to get the Venezuelan oil. And there's some indications that China was supposed to, I don't know if they're doing it, if they started it, to build a liquefied natural gas plant inside of West Virginia. That's less have I heard. So this is how China rolls. We think that China is like something. China wants obviously be a superpower or the superpower. I don't believe China wants us to crash. China just wants us to go down a bit, slow down a little bit, and they want to be #1. That's what I think, right? Because they're too intertwined with us, right? With that being said, right, China is more concerned about its economics, its economy, though it's obviously it's not afraid to use its military, as we can look at the various military bases to protect its oil. The engine that drives the economies is the oil, is the energy, right? That drives all economies, and that's why all the criminals and all the criminal politicians in the deep state, from the CIA, FBI nexus, to the Operation Ace of Spades, Operation Side Piece, Operation Frankenstein, which is Joe Biden, nuclear energy. The money in nuclear energy is unreal. And that's what the Obama Clinton crime family was from. The Clinton Foundation and Obama had his hand in the Clinton Foundation. Lisa Jackson was there from his administration, and so was Cheryl Mills from the Obama administration. So so China, just looking at these vectors. So let's go back now to China. So we got China and Russia. They got this thing called the Shanghai Cooperation, which is Russia and China's answer to NATO. And they have some countries. Let me see how many countries have gone in there since. The Shanghai Cooperation Organization. So this is run by both equally, China and Russia. So I'm going to see how many members there are at this point. So let's see, because it changes, because it's. So they got like different levels of membership. They have 8 member states, 4 observer, 6 dialogue, and 4 guests. Let's see who they are. Let's see how much has changed. Trying to find out how many has changed. Okay, here we go. So we got, well, those are the, I don't want to know the individuals, I want to know the countries. Okay, here we go. Member states is China, Kazakhstan, Russia, Uzbekistan, India, and Pakistan. Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, Tajikistan. What the hell was that? I don't know. Uzbekistan. Okay, so those are the member states, right? Observer states is Afghanistan, Belarus, Iran, Mongolia. So Iran wants to get in there. Dialogue partners for the Shanghai Cooperation Organization are Armenia, Cambodia, Nepal, Sri Lanka, Turkey. Turkey's in NATO. Turkey's a dialogue partner. It's crazy. That's crazy. Wow. So Turkmenistan, the UN, CIS. What's the CIS? Let's see what that is. That's probably an organization. The Commonwealth of Independent States, and in Eurasia, and Association of Southeast Asian Nations. Wow. So this is the Russia and Iran. Well, Iran wants to get in. Russia and China's answer to NATO. And we spoke about China going to Jamal Peninsula off the Korea Sea in Russia, building liquefied natural gas plants. I think they're on a second one. So Russia wants to increase its market share into Europe, which the Trump administration is very concerned about, as well as import LNG into China. So that's pretty much, that gives you an idea of how this, and then we know from the well, China's, we know Russia's doing the nukes with Iran, building the nuclear reactors, or according to Netanyahu, building nuclear weapons with Iran. Russia is. So this is where we are, right? So let's go. We got a little time. Let's go to Yahweh. Just want to see Yahweh. This is let me get the. I'm gonna go to Wikipedia. It's a good place to start. Yahweh Wikipedia. So here we go. Yahweh Wikipedia. Okay, good. So here it is. So basically, Yahweh is a Chinese multinational technology company. It provides telecommunications equipment and sells consumer electronics, smartphones. So that's where pretty much it is, and it's founded by a former deputy regimental chief in the People's Liberation Army. So this is run by the Communist Party. Yahweh has expanded its business to include building telecommunication networks, providing operational consulting services and equipment to enterprises inside and outside of China, and manufacturing communications devices for the consumer market. Yahweh has over 194,000 employees as of December 2019. Yahweh, so this is a Wikipedia. Wow, that's crazy. Wow. So, although successfully internationally, Yahweh has faced difficulties in some markets due to claims of undue state support, links to the CCP, cybersecurity concerns, primarily from the United States government. Yahweh's infrastructure equipment may enable surveillance by the Chinese government. With the development of 5G wireless networks, there have been calls from the United States to prevent the use of products by Yahweh or fellow Chinese telecommunications companies. Yahweh has argued that its products pose no greater cybersecurity risk than those of any other vendor, and there is no evidence of the United States espionage claims. Questions concerning Yahweh's ownership and control, as well as concerns regarding the extent of state support, also remain. Well, we'll find out right now. I'm trying to find out. I don't know. I'm trying to find out, Mike. So I just gave you the lowdown on some basic vectors, what we know, and I want to get into this Yahweh thing. In the midst of an ongoing trade war between China and the United States, Yahweh was restricted from doing commerce with U.S. companies due to alleged previous willful violations of U.S. sanctions against Iran. So China has violated U.S. sanctions against Iran. So we have restricted doing commerce with Yahweh, which is a Chinese owned by the CCP, Chinese Communist Party. On January 29, U.S. President Donald Trump reached an agreement to resume trade talks with China and announced that he would ease the aforementioned sanctions on Yahweh. Yahweh cut 600,000 jobs at its Santa Clara Research Center in California. It was moving its center to Canada because the restrictions would block them from interacting with U.S. employees. So let's see. What could we say? So we know about the. Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy, bro. So we know that there's a CCP connection here. The founder is a former deputy director of the People's Liberation Army Engineering Corps. Founded Yahweh in '87. So let's get to the controversy. Let's get to the controversy. So in '03, Yahweh partnered with 3Com on a joint venture known as H3C, which was focused on enterprise networking equipment. It marked 3Com's re-entrance into the high-end core routers and switch market after having abandoned it in 2000 to focus on other businesses. 3Com brought in Yahweh's share of the venture in 2006 for US 882 million. Wow. So that's in '08. Yahweh began the joint. I'm just looking at a few things just to get an idea of how they were trending. In '07, Yahweh began a joint venture with U.S. security software vendor Symatech Corporation, known as Yahweh Symatech, which aimed to provide end-to-end solutions for network data storage and security. Yahweh brought out Symatech's share in Venture 2012. So, according to the New York Times, Symatech had fears that the partnership would prevent it from obtaining U.S. government classified information about cyber threats. So things started to unravel for this Yahweh and any companies associated with Yahweh, American companies. I'm telling you, Mike, I don't know what's going on with this 5G. Yahweh established a Yahweh Malaysia Training Center in Malaysia in 2019. At the end of, listen to this one, at the end of 2018, Yahweh sold over 200 million smartphones. I thought that's kind of off the hook. That's crazy. 200 million smartphones Yahweh sold. They reported the strong consumer demand for premium range smartphones helped the company reach consumer sales in excess of 52 billion. Wow. In 18. Yahweh announced worldwide revenues of 105 billion in 2018, a net profit of 8.7 billion. Yahweh's quarter 1 2019 revenues were up 39% year over year at US 26. Wow. Huge. This thing is huge. Yahweh reported revenue of 122 billion. Wow. Now, this thing's going to start to get dicey now. I'm telling you, Mike, this is going to get dicey, this thing now, because I could see it, the way this thing's unfolding. Yahweh classifies itself as a collective entity and prior to 2019 didn't refer to itself as a private company. Richard McGregor, author of The Party, The Secret World of Chinese Communist Rulers, said this is a definitional distinction that has been essential to the company's receipt of state support at crucial points in its development. Yahweh's status as a genuine collective is doubtful. Wow. Dicey, right, Mike? It's crazy. This is dicey, bro. Politicians in the U.S. are using the strength of an entire nation to come after a private company. Okay, so let's see. So the Yahweh founder and CEO has the power to veto any decisions made by the board of directors. So the board of directors disclosed the list in 2010. So deputy chairwoman currently, oh, so the chairwoman is currently out on bail in Vancouver. Meng Wazoo, after being arrested December 2018 after an extradition request. Meng, right. After an extradition request of U.S. authorities on suspicion of Iran sanctions evasion. It's crazy, Mike. So after an extradition request of U.S. authorities on suspicion of Iran sanctions evasion. So, oh, it's the cats. They're mating outside. Oh my God. I got these cats. Yahweh claims it is an employee-owned company, but it remains a point of dispute. They're not telling us the truth. I messed up my coordinate system. Yeah, they won't let me use my intro. I got to get it another way. I miss my intro, bro. I miss it. Thank you I miss it so much. Ren, the God bless you, Joe. Ren, the CEO that says 1% shares of Yahweh's holding company, Yahweh Investment and Holding, with the remainder of the shares held by a trade union company, not a trade. Okay. So the company's trade union committee is registered with and paid dues to the Zenrin Federation of the All China Federation of Trade Unions, which is controlled by the Communist Party of China. So we get this. So partners. Here we go. We're gonna get a little. Here, this is now. This is gonna get interesting now. This is gonna get interesting now. Partners. As of the beginning of 2010, 80% of the world's top 50 telecoms companies had worked with Yahweh. Bell Canada, BT, Clearwire, Cox Communications, Globe Telecom, Motorola, Orange, P. We're just going through the information. I don't know yet. I'm just trying to find out about Yahweh. PLDT, Portugal Telecom, PTCL, T-Mobile, TalkTalk, and Vodafone. Since 16, German camera company Leica has established a partnership with Yahweh. 2020, Bell Canada. Yeah, Mike. I listen from Elvis to Biggie Smalls. I like all music. Italian, Espana, everything. Brazilian, everything. I listen to all music. So Yahweh partnering with Dutch navigation device company TomTom for Google Map alternative. So I'm getting into products, devices. So we're going to get into the controversy in a minute. Yahweh devices. Bill Clinton has a band. It's going. Yahweh's devices division provides white label products to content service product for the providers. Bell Clinton, wow, you got it, bro. You got it, Mike. Including USB modems, wireless routers for mobile Wi-Fi, embedded modules, fixed wireless terminals, wireless gateways, set-up boxes, mobile handsets, and video products. Yahweh also produces and sells a variety of devices under its own name, such as IDEO smartphones. They sold, I can't believe the amount of smartphones there's 200 million. I can't get over that. So this is like devices, the phones, Yahweh Ascend, Yahweh Honor, Yahweh Mate. They sold 200 million of these. I'm like blown away. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. They have a laptop, tablet, Yahweh Mate Pad Pro launched November 2019. Yahweh Watch software, competitive position. Yahweh Technologies is the world's largest telecom equipment maker, China's largest telephone network equipment maker, 3,442 patents. Wow. Yahweh became the world's number one applicant for international patents in 2014. It has 21 R&D institutes in countries including China, United States, Canada, UK, Pakistan, Finland, France, Belgium, Germany, Colombia, Sweden, Ireland, India, Russia, Israel, and Turkey. Wow. Yahweh is considering opening research and development R&D center in Russia. Wow. Which would be the third in the country after Moscow and St. Petersburg. So they're going to have 3 R&D centers inside of Russia. Wow. You think Russia's asking for it, right? I don't know. It's kind of crazy. Now here comes the criticism. Now here we go. The espionage. This is going to get interesting. All right. And this is all footnoted. So I mean, it's right out of Wikipedia. PhD physicists use Wikipedia. I'm sorry. Yahweh has faced criticism for various aspects of its operations, with its most prominent controversies having involved U.S. allegations of its products containing backdoors for Chinese government espionage. Consistent with domestic laws requiring Chinese citizens and companies to cooperate with state intelligence when warranted, Yahweh executives have constantly denied these allegations, having stated that the company has never received any request by the Chinese government to introduce backdoors in its equipment, which refused to do so, and that Chinese law does not compel them to do so. Do you believe them? No. But this has got 5 footnotes to it. Wow. Espionage. This is the reason why I wanted to do this. I'm interested in this 5G. Yahweh has been at the center of the espionage allegations as Chinese 5G network equipment. In 2018, the United States passed a defense funding bill that contained a passage barring the foreign government from doing business with Yahweh, ZTE, and several Chinese vendors of surveillance products due to security concerns. And that has 3 footnotes. The Chinese government has threatened economic retaliation against companies that block Yahweh's market access. It's crazy, Mike. It's crazy. Crazy. German and British intelligence agencies have pushed back against the United States. Okay, German and British intelligence agencies have pushed back against the U.S. allegations, stating that after examining Yahweh's 5G hardware and accompanying source code, they have found no evidence of malfeasance and a ban would therefore be unwarranted. Well, Germany has, Britain has Sharia law courts over there, so Britain is being run roughshod by the Islamists, and Germany is a little more stricter. But I don't know. I'm still, I don't trust. Obviously, we don't trust what's going on with China, right? Additionally, the head of Britain's National Cybersecurity Center. Britain has their own organization called the Qalam Foundation, where they have radicalized Islamists being paid to consult with the likes of Noman Benoitman, who confesses to be an Islamist, going all the way back to the Pan-Islamic Summit and the Afghan Taliban in Sudan and the Afghan Taliban, right? In addition to so he goes all the way back to the Afghan Taliban and the Soviet Union. He's an Al Qaeda foreign fighter. To the al-Sura Gaddafi in 2011, to the Pan-Islamic Summit with Hassan al-Turabi, Osama bin Laden in the 90s. This guy is a full-blown radical Islamist, and the dates don't coincide with his bio, and we wonder when he had this epiphany, because he's getting paid big bucks to consult with the British government on radical Islam. It's crazy. This is Britain, and they're telling us how to handle China. It's crazy. So in 2018, the U.S. passed a defense funding bill that contained a passage barring the federal government from doing business with. Okay, so we said this to security concerns. The Chinese government has threatened economic retaliation against countries that block Yahweh's market access. Okay, so I read this already, right? Additionally, no, this is what I didn't read. Additionally, the head of Britain's National Cybersecurity Center, GCHQ, stated that the U.S. has not managed to provide UK with any proof of its allegations against Yahweh. So Britain is more liberal. Honestly, Britain is more lefty than the House Democrats. That's how bad they are. They're more lefty. Like there was a point in time, the London police, I don't think they had guns. There was a point in time London police weren't allowed to have guns. They had battalions. It's crazy. And they had they sent the politicians, the British politicians, when they were doing the ouster on Gaddafi. Wow. It's crazy, bro. And you got so when they did the ouster on Gaddafi, the British politicians were encouraging the Libyan Britons who migrated from Libya to Manchester to go back to Libya and fight to oust Gaddafi. They were with Hezbollah over there, the Hezbollah terror cells. They came back and they started bombing England. That's how bad the English politicians are. And they're telling the Americans what to do. They're crazy. They are so liberal, it's ridiculous. So obviously things have changed. They got Boris Johnson, but prior to that, they're trying to change it, right? The politicians like Theresa May, oh my God, please. So allegations of fraudulent conspiracy to subvert sanctions against Iran. Okay. December 2012, Reuters reported that deep links existed as early as 2010 between Yahweh through Ming, that chick, who was the CFO of the firm, and an Iranian telecom importer, Sycom. The U.S. had long-standing sanctions on Iran, including against the importation of U.S. technology goods into Iran. August 22, 2018, a New York court issues an arrest warrant for Meng. Your girl, Mike, she's in Canada, to stand trial in the United States, right? On December 2018, Meng was arrested in Canada. Mike, where are you? At the request of U.S. authorities. She faced extradition to the United States on charges of violating the sanctions regime. January 28th, 2019, U.S. federal prosecutors formally indicted Meng and Yahweh with 13 counts of bank and wire fraud. Wow. That's crazy, Mike. Wow. So 13 counts of bank and wire fraud in order to mask the sale that is illegal under sanctions of U.S. technology to Iran, obstruction of justice, and misappropriating trade secrets. The department also filed a formal extradition request for Ming with Canadian authorities that same day. Yahweh responded to the charges and said that it denies that it or its subsidiary or affiliate have committed any of the asserted violations, as well as asserted Meng was similarly, they said she was innocent. Of course they're going to say that. The China Ministry, right, Mike? The China Ministry of Industry and IFT, Information Technology, believed the charges brought on to the United States were unfair. And there's footnotes there. There's footnotes all over this. The case for extradition of Ming to U.S. to face charges is ongoing May 2020, with the BC Supreme Court judge on May 27, 2020, ruling that the extradition proceedings against the Yahweh executive should proceed, denying the claim of double criminality brought by Ming's defense team. Exploitable backdoors. In February 2020, U.S. government officials claimed that Yahweh has had the ability to covertly exploit backdoors intended for law enforcement officials in carrier equipment like antennas and routers since 2009. That's crazy. And there's two footnotes on that. Allegations of intellectual property theft. Yahweh has been accused of various instances of intellectual property theft against parties such as Nortel, Cisco Systems, and T-Mobile USA, where a Yahweh employee had photographed a robotic arm used to stress test smartphones and taken a fingertip from the robot. That's crazy. Three footnotes on that one. The management of the company claims that the U.S. government persecutes it because Yahweh's expansion can affect American business interests. So that's a footnote. In February 2020, U.S. Department of Justice charged Yahweh with racketeering and conspiring to steal trade secrets from 6 U.S. firms. That's got two footnotes. Wow, this is crazy. This thing is getting crazier by the second. This thing is what they're accusing him of now is really nuts. Wow, if this is true, it's off the hook. Allegations of involvement in Ping's re-education camps. What the hell is this? In 2019, the Australian Strategic Policy Institute accused Yahweh of assisting in the mass detention of the Muslims in Ping's re-education camps. Yahweh technology is regarded as critical to the Chinese government's pervasive system of surveillance of the Chinese Muslims, right, and other ethnic minorities. In August 2018, the National Defense Authorization Act of fiscal year 2019 was signed into law, containing a provision that banned Yahweh and ZTE equipment from being used by the U.S. government and citing security concerns. Yahweh filed a lawsuit over the act in March 2019, alleging it to be unconstitutional because it specifically targeted Yahweh without granting it a chance to provide a rebuttal or its due process. Additionally, so the Trump administration has been fighting hard against Yahweh. Hard. Thank you, Sandra. Thank you for the shares. Additionally, on May 15, 2019, the Department of Commerce added Yahweh and 70 foreign subsidiaries and affiliates to its entity list under the Export Administration regulations, citing the company having been indicted for knowingly, willfully causing the export, re-export, sale, supply, directly and indirectly of goods, technology, services, banking, and other financial services from the United States to Iran and the government of Iran without obtaining a license from the Department of Treasury, Office of Foreign Assets Control. Footnote there. This restricts U.S. companies from doing business with Yahweh without a government license. Various U.S.-based companies immediately froze their business with Yahweh to comply with the regulation. Another footnote. These actions have negatively affected Yahweh production and sales and financial projections. Three footnotes. However, June 29, 2019, at the G20, U.S. President Donald John Trump made statements implicating plans to ease the restrictions on U.S. companies doing business with Yahweh. That's three footnotes. Despite this statement, May 20, the U.S. Department of Commerce extended its export restrictions to bar Yahweh from producing semiconductors derived from technology or software of U.S. origin. Even if the manufacturing is performed overseas, in June 20, FCC designated Yahweh a national security threat, thereby barring it from any U.S. subsidies. U.S. subsidies. Replacement operating systems. During the sanctions, it was noted that Yahweh has been working on its own in-house operating system, codenamed Hongming OS. In an interview with executive Richard Yu, stated that an in-house OS could be used as a B plan if it was prevented from using Android Windows as a result of U.S. action. Yahweh filed trademarks for the names ARK, ARKOS, and Harmony in Europe, which was speculated to be connected to this OSS. And that's got two footnotes. On August 9, 2019, Yahweh officially unveiled Harmony OS at its inaugural developers conference in Dong Yang with ARC compiler, which can be used to port Android APK. Wow, it's going to be a landslide for Trump there, swag. So APK packages to the OS. In September of 2019, Yahweh began offering the Chinese Linux distribution Deepening as an optional preloaded operating system on selected MateBook models in China as an alternative to Windows. So there it goes, and it continues. So we're going to talk more about this tomorrow. Wow, what a mess this Yahweh is. What a freaking mess. Wow. So we're going to drill down this all week. Yahweh. All week. Swag, he's winning. Bigly, too. Trump is winning big. So the Trump administration is all over Yahweh. Wow, Mike. The Trump administration is all over Yahweh. All over. All over. So it's crazy, right? So that's where we are. You know, we're going to drill down more on Yahweh. I got we came out with the basic. Oh, China's not sanctioning Yahweh. Trump's after them too? Crazy, swag. New York is crazy. Insane. While I'm here, let me do this other thing while I'm here. Let me see 5G health risks. Let's see what's come out with 5G health risks. Let's see what comes out. Oh, shutting it down, Sandra. Wow. I didn't hear that. Wow. I hope not. Trump will get it back open. I'm telling you, Swag. Whatever happens, whatever they do to joust with our great president, Donald John Trump, from now to November 3rd, 2020, absolutely, Sandra, our president's going to win. They come out with a book. I think his niece is coming out with a book. And I think next week, whatever they do, don't get worried. Trump is going to get through it. He's going to win. They're going to try to paint it, whatever they're going to paint it, Trump is going to win. They're going to do everything they can to stop him, but they're not going to be able to. I was listening to Rona. What's her name? Is it McDonald? Rona, the GNC, the GNC, the RNC, the GNC, the RNC. Rona McDonald. Which one? They both look good. Swag, right? So Rona Rona McDaniel, the RNC chair. There you go, Swag, right? Claimed that the ground game that Trump has now is by far, I mean, he never had the ground game in 16 he's got now. And it blows away what Biden has right now, what he's got, what Trump has on the ground. Sick. Trump has a sick campaign. Sick. Between the social media. You see, if you look at these elections, right? You look at 1960, Nixon and Kennedy. TV was the thing, right? If you look at the history, you read the books, you read the articles, they're on the internet, and they talk about how much of an influence TV had on the Richard Nixon, John Kennedy election. It was so close, and Nixon was painted to be a bad guy, but he bowed out eventually. He didn't do what Al Gore did, you know. They said Nixon was a bad guy. I mean, he had plumbers working for him in '68. He did. The CIA plumbers he had in his administration. Top officials. Those plumbers in the '60s were not very nice. They were very crude. I mean, the intelligence agencies have evolved, and the deep state now, unfortunately. You're right, Swag. He didn't. Absolutely. That would have been a disaster. That would have been a disaster. There would have been anarchy like there is today. In 2000. Thank God Bush won. But, I've fallen away from Bush because of his stance with our great president, Donald John Trump. So I'm not with, I liked Bush. I voted for him. I don't like the way he finished off, but he was tough in the beginning. He had George Tenet. So he had George Tenet as the CIA director. Tenet is, to me, the last great one. I like Pompeo. I really like Pompeo. I like Petraeus. The rest of them they can have. And I do like Gina Haspel, the CIA director now. She waterboarded an Al Qaeda terrorist in Thailand in 2002 at a black ops site in Thailand, China. Thailand, not China, in Thailand. So I watched the movie. It wasn't Pearl Harbor. I forgot the name of it, but it was about Pearl Harbor. Oh, Midway. Last night, Midway. Oh my God. And they tried to tie it as much as they can to the real events because they actually, at the end, they showed who these people were in real life. So they tried to tie the events as much as they can to the World War II, Midway with Japan, the airstrikes with Japan. And it was amazing. We were amazing. What an amazing generation the World War II generation was. Absolutely amazing. I was blown away by the movie. They tried to tie it as much as they can to the real life events. And they had the surprise attack on Pearl Harbor and how we retaliated. I'm telling you, Sandra, the best. I agree. So, so today it's social media, and Trump's on steroids with the social media, right? His social media is stronger today than it was in 16, and it was very powerful. He's got algorithms. He's got everything going on with Pasquale and company, and then plus he's got the the rallies. Now, what was interesting with the rallies, I don't know what the numbers look like for Tulsa. They were higher than reported. They were in the 12,000, not the 6,000. But it was interesting. I haven't seen the numbers as far as what the breakdown was. I saw the breakdown before the COVID, the rallies before the COVID. Trump was getting 20% in the 20% range for Democrats. Think about that. Trump, I don't believe Trump was doing the numbers and the pulling the data from the rallies in 16 that he pulled now. No, I don't think he did it. I may be wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But I don't think Trump was pulling the data from the rallies that he's doing now for his whole term. Pasquale on his newsfeed was putting some of the numbers there. I saw at least 4 rallies before the COVID. 20% Democrats were attending those rallies. I'm telling you, we're looking at a landslide over here. We're looking at a landslide. Things are trending in the right direction. We're not going to get the COVID numbers we're not going to get the economy numbers the way it was before the COVID. That was the greatest economy, arguably, in the history of the world. So I don't know. I just think his trajectory is going to be too much. So if Kanye runs, he's got to take some African American vote from Biden. He's got to take some. If he takes 5% to 10%, those are votes not for Biden. That's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot. If he gets 5 to 10% of the vote, you got to think the majority of that vote's going to be, in all honesty, African American. So if he takes 5% for Biden, that's a lot. Those are votes not for Biden. That's a lot. That is a lot. See, they're not being honest. You turn the lights on right now, Trump starts with 47, 48%. Right off the top. Right sway. Have a blessed night, Mike. I'm going to bed too. What time is it? It's almost 12 o'clock. I should go to bed. We had a good time. We got into some stuff I wanted to get into this 5G stuff and health risks. And I just want to know, so here's what they say. Here's what they say. The scientific consensus is that there are no health risks from all forms of RF energy at the low levels approved by everyday consumer use. The FCC regulates RF emissions, including millimeter waves from 5G devices and equipment, and has adopted the recommendations of expert scientific organizations that have reviewed the science, including dozens of studies focused specifically on millimeter waves and established safe exposure levels. Okay. Have a blessed one, Swag. I'll be on tomorrow. In December 2019, the FCC reaffirmed on a unanimous bipartisan basis these safety standards. Typical exposure to 5G devices, such as small cells attached to phone poles or the size of the buildings, is far below the permissible levels and comparable to Bluetooth devices and baby monitors. The FCC continues to monitor science to ensure that its regulations are protective of public health. We'll see. I'm sorry, I don't trust government agencies. I don't trust government, I don't trust government agencies. I am cynical. So we'll see. I'm not saying this is not true. I just don't trust, you know? And they have a counter. So this is what's so interesting in this whole thing. Why are people spreading misinformation about 5G online? Surveillance. Okay, I'll look up surveillance 5G. So that's what. See, if that's true, then that's the reason why I don't trust. Because this is why I don't trust. Right? Why I'm cynical. If you're right, Sandra, that's the reason why. Because they're pawning this off one way, and maybe you're right. Maybe it's surveillance 5G. So you're talking about Yahweh, the surveillance 5G. Surveillance 5G. That's the where the emissions, the electromagnetic radiation is at its highest. Is that what you're saying? Right. So here's an article that I'm going to read on to go be a start. Here's a good article, the New Yorker. So that's an anti-Trumper newspaper. The terrifying potential of the 5G network. I'm going to read that by Sue Halpern. I'm going to try to read it for tomorrow night, and I'll print it out and I'll read some excerpt from it. That's what I'll do. Yes. All right, so I'm going to get off. We went on for some time. We got into some things, and have a blessed night, Sandra. Thank you. Have a blessed one. Have a blessed one, Sandra, and we'll take it from there. God bless you all in the room. God bless the men and women of the United States Armed Forces. Thank you for your service. Thank you for providing me with the freedom that I love in this broadcast. Thanks for the visit, BG. Uh, um, who else? Joel. Yeah, Mandalay Bay tomorrow. We'll do Mandalay Bay tomorrow. BG. We'll do Mandalay Bay tomorrow. I spoke about some. I spoke to some of the vectors on the. You heard the. I spoke about some of the vectors on 77 WABC. We'll go over again tomorrow before I get into Yahweh and 5G. Okay. So I'm exploring this article by the New Yorker, The Terrifying Potential of the 5G Network by Sue Halpern. We'll see where that takes me. And then I'm going to try to read it. I wonder how many pages it is. I'm going to read it electronically.